to a stream. This is something a little different. So I've started the survival Minecraft series with my family, and this is something I've kind of wanted to do for a really long time, and I finally figured out how to take my Twitch streams and turn them into a video. So, guys, this is something I've been working on for a little over a year now. Probably had about a 4-month hiatus. This is a city I've been working on with 4 quadrants: southeast, southwest, northwest, and northeast. Northeast is kind of the downtown district, or at least will be. Um, this over here, the northwest, is going to be kind of like the suburbs. There's a big strip mall here that needs finished. Everything needs finished. You're going to hear me say that a lot in this video. This is just a tour of what we have so far. This area, we'll go over everything, but this is going to be the suburbs. This over here is kind of what would be considered like the hood, I guess, or like where some crime takes place and like normal everyday living happens. They got the school campus here, which obviously, isn't finished. Most of this is not finished. The goal is to get this done before GTA 6 comes out. So we have about 9 years. No, I'm just kidding. If they stick to their word and release it on May 26th of next year, I would like to have this done pre May 26th next year. So, and then there's this, which is going to be like the old downtown, if you can see that over there. And a lot of factories and utility buildings, and there's an apartment complex I've started over there. Um, I do have add-ons enabled in this world. You should know that, because if you're looking at this, you're probably very confused. This is a road add-on. Um, I'm huge with texturing, so this block of land right here is a very good example of that. My building comes with an immense amount of like detail added to it. I would like to eventually even texture this building, but this is like a house property, and this is supposed to be on the not so nice part of town, like the factory district, where maybe the less fortunate live, things like that. And this is kind of what I've done with this area. I have a railroad add-on. There are working trains. There are plenty of new blocks. I have about 200 different colors of wool we can use for stuff, just for different color types. There's windows, there's furniture, there's new doors. There's all this road detail that we can add. There's mailboxes. The list goes on. I mean, if I load up my thing here, I've got all this. Let me get rid of the fences real quick. Look at just how long the items list is. I mean, this is all the vanilla stuff. This is where the vanilla stuff ends. It's only like a third of the blocks I have enabled that we can use to decorate stuff. So there is quite a bit here that we can work with. I might end up doing an episode on this series where I literally just kind of go through this list slowly and take note of some of the items that we can use later on, because there's so much stuff in here I don't even know that I've seen yet. Like there's a green toaster. Hello? And what, like, white sun lounger. I have not seen this yet. What does a white sun lounger look like? See, look at that. Like, that's so cool. Can you sit on it? Bro, what? This is too cool. See, like, this is why I have add-ons enabled. So this is something we're gonna have some fun with, doing things like that. But yeah, just for an example of furniture, like I got a rocking chair out here, just adding some lore. Maybe the person that lives in this house is older. This house is very outdated. Um, they might want to sit here and just watch the trains go by, you know? So yeah, we got that going on. So this is a water filtration plant. I'm gonna just kind of take you through what I have so far. Water filtration plant here. I did the best I could. You can turn these on. There's like the filtering systems. It pulls water. And basically this is like the main pump for this town, which I haven't decided if it's going to be Kalesburg or Kalesboro yet. Um, but yeah, then this is going to be another factory of sorts. Something to do with wood, the lumber industry, because I have a track that connects to this business and loops around that goes all the way back over here to another business which is lumber oriented. Um, Over here I have somewhat of a lumber yard going on. I have not finished this factory yet. Obviously, I just laid it out, laid the track, haven't done the interior or anything like that, but I have the yard pretty much finished. There's a little mobile home back here. Um, there's some lore back there. We'll get into that. I'll probably make a Secrets of Killsborough or whatever this ends up being called video. So there's lumber, there's stacks of lumber, little stacks of wood, little logs here, um, things like that. And this is a mobile home that's like been converted into a break room. A very old school like 70s mobile home, and then we'll get into that later. Um, but yeah, this is for the workers here at the lumber factory or the yard, whatever you want to call this. Um, and then over here is the downtown district, the old downtown district. That's new downtown. This is old downtown. And you'll notice some of the add-on blocks don't load in. If we're gonna do role play things on this, or the possibilities are endless. Once this map is finished, we can do like zombie apocalypse add-ons. We can do ghost add-ons, anything crazy stuff. A bunch of different mini series that we could use just in this world alone. Um, but I might have my render distance down for that just to make it feel like a bigger map. So I strategically placed Old Downtown on this street. This will be South Main Street. Under this bridge, you get into North Main Street. You'll see I also have not converted all of the roads yet to this new road type that I've started using. I started converting it over into this concrete, which I liked a lot more than the terracotta. And I ended up just not finishing. But this is North Main Street. This is where you'll see a lot of the more like tall apartment buildings or businesses, things like that, corporate towers, and just things of that nature. Oh, hi, Shady. My cat just walked in. I actually ended up using the gray wallpaper block from one of the furniture add-ons because it looks like stone, and I prefer this texture over the normal vanilla Minecraft stone texture. So we can kind of play on blocks a little bit and turn them into things that they're not. So obviously all these roads will get converted. You'll be here for that. This needs to be converted to that wallpaper block. But yeah, the exterior of this building is finished. A lot of these buildings just don't have details yet or interiors. But that's all things you might see on the series. This could be a very long series when it comes to these episodes. This here is going to be the courthouse for Kalesborough, or Kalesburg, whatever we end up calling this. And I think this is going to be the portion of the map that somewhere in here, if we do like a purge or something, I'm going to want to have a plat map of the entire city using like level 0 maps, which I think would be absolutely awesome. And there's going to be offices, and then 2 separate courtrooms are going to be in here, and then there's going to be an upstairs level with, some offices up top as well. This is going to be a fun build to complete. I'm really looking forward to getting the courthouse finished. So I'm probably going to put a parking garage around here. And then with this parking garage being here, I want to put like a main block of a hospital here. And then possibly the other portion of the hospital here. Do maybe a really nice apartment complex here. And then, so this is actually the first build, I think, that was in this world. And it is a hotel. And the interior is not done yet, so we're not even going to go in there. But there's a back parking lot, and then there's the front parking lot with the main drive to unload your luggage. And then here's the back parking. Oh, God, yeah, we're going to have to change all these parking lots and roads into main blocks, or like the add-on blocks. I do have this mapped out, though, for hotel rooms. So, yeah, I kind of prepare myself when I go in to do an interior build. We also have street lights now, but these low-key look kind of cool. That actually looks a lot different from what I remember it, and does not look very appropriate, so that might get changed. This over here is kind of like a middle-class type neighborhood. You'll see a lot of like 70s, 80s style like traditional homes here, like this. This is kind of along the lines of what you would see in like the suburbs of where I live. At least in some of the suburbs that were built in like the 70s and 80s. So houses a lot like this are around in those areas, and I kind of was trying to replicate that a little bit. You know, houses that are from a different period, maybe slightly updated, but not quite updated. That's kind of going to be what this neighborhood is about. Houses like this. This house over here is my friend Candy's house. I let her go wild with this one. She decorated the absolute crap out of this house, which, you know, I gave her full permission to. I did do the styling of this house. Like I said, this neighborhood is supposed to look like it kind of came up in the 70s and 80s, and some of these houses just have not been updated as a result of like elderly ownership. So that's kind of what's going on with some of these houses. You know, I'm not even gonna ask her why that's there. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you guys have building tips, I mean, I feel like I do a fairly okay job building, but if you have any like building tips, just let me know. You know, I definitely would love more advice going forward. One thing I'm not going to look forward to, and I will do one video on this probably, maybe two, but I will not put you guys through the torture of replacing all the roads with the new add-on blocks. That is something I plan to do probably a lot more on my own time. Um, yeah, there's windows, there's landscaping. I'm not done landscaping everything. This house was built pre-add-ons, and you can tell. You can really tell. But we'll work on all that, you know? Revamping interiors. This house was also built pre-add-ons. I like this house. I don't love it. And it's not done. Most of these aren't done. But what I do love about this house is the backyard. And this is something we can play around with. You know, I do like this house quite a bit. It just needs some revamping now that the add-ons have been done. Anyways, I'm spending too much time on individual builds. There is one more individual build I'd like to show you in this area, and it's this one. Specifically because I built it to look like a very outdated and haunted house, but it turned out to literally be a haunted house. I don't know why. I don't have any horror add-ons installed or anything like that. But for some reason, when I come into this house at nighttime and go into the basement specifically, this house screams at me. Like, randomly screams. Like a horror scream. And I cannot figure out why. So I unintentionally made a haunted house. I don't get it. But yeah, this house is supposed to feel very outdated and, you know, shag carpet, you know, maybe elderly owned, something like that. But it is haunted, and I don't know why it's haunted because I literally did not make it haunted, so it's very confusing. This was the first house I ever built in this world. Also supposed to have kind of a cozy vibe, but, you know, somewhat updated as well. You know, it looks outdated, but it also looks like it's had some modern touches done to it. And that's kind of what I was going for with this one. So, yeah, this build's turning out good. I'm looking forward to finishing this with you guys. Okay, that pretty much concludes this portion of the map. Aside from, I started a fire station over here, which I might also revamp that, and then a police station here that I've just built the face of, and I'm not sure how much I like it, but I would like to finish that build as well soon. Um, let's see. Wow, this video is already 14 minutes long. If I charge through some of this, I bet that we can get this video cranked out in 35 minutes or less. That would be nice. This over here is a strip mall. Going to be in the, you know, suburb portion of the map. This needs to come out as well. I did so much with this world that I'm going to correct. I'm very glad I didn't finish this massive parking lot before doing the road add-on. So I got a few business here. There are a few businesses here. Starting with this one, Schlebel Sushi. So one of my girlfriend's foods that she likes is sushi. and her name is Shelby. So I gave her this little sushi restaurant, kind of based on like, Japanese like cherry blossoms, things like that, and I kind of built this little like fish preparing section back here in the kitchen to kind of simulate like sushi. I think this restaurant actually turned out okay. There's even with the add-ons, I don't know that there's a ton that I would do to this restaurant. Except for, change the bathrooms to actual bathroom fixtures at this point, but this turned out pretty good. This I'm willing to stay like a complete original build. I think it's cute. This over here, also, yeah, none of this is finished. I'm just saying that now. Like, we have a lot of work to do, guys. This over here, I don't remember what I named this. Um, we're gonna have to come up with a double T name because that's the logo I picked with a name in mind, and I don't know what I named this restaurant. But this is kind of like a playoff of Starbucks. This is gonna be like, um, kind of like this world's version of Starbucks. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. It's been a long day. But yeah, this is also another build I'm looking forward to finishing. If you can't tell by some of my designs, this world is kind of stuck in 2008 in a way. Also, another thing to mention about this is stripped birch, but this strip mall was originally going to be this old mushroom block, which I ended up keeping on this. This looks like a horrible name. This is a grocery store, the main grocery store for this city, called Kumart. The reason it's named that is because my name is Caleb, and my family on my dad's side often calls me Koo for short. So I ended up naming this Kumart, but it looks like something else. So that only makes this building more funny and more lore driven. But they removed this mushroom block from Minecraft. I've searched for it far and wide in my blocks, and I cannot find it absolutely anywhere. I don't know why it's gone. This, though, yes, this is Kumart. I have done nothing for this interior. Full shell. The business over here is Beans Big Ball Bowling. I wanted a quadruple B for this business. My brother's nickname is Beans, so I gave him a bowling alley. And when you go in this bowling alley, you'll notice it is very, very 90s in here. Like, extremely 90s. Oh my god, we have so much stuff to do. I wish I wouldn't have done so much before I did the add-ons. I'd get the little, like, utility thing back here. Good lord. And then the TVs up there too. I will turn these into actual TVs and turn them on, and it'll look so much better. Connected to this bowling alley, I did a nod off of the bowling alley in my hometown. I'm not going to tell you where that is. This is Checkers, my pizza joint. That is not what it's called in real life, but this is like brick oven pizza. And this, oh God. Yeah, there's so much updating to do, but this is Checkers, and it's a nice little pizza parlor that's attached to the bowling alley. And then this over here is going to be completely changed. These roads will not exist anymore. Actually, I cut these roads in half to build this lake. I dug this lake out myself, and I'm eventually going to end up doing a bunch of like terraforming here. And there's going to be really nice houses all the way around this lake with like curved roads that are kind of forming a neighborhood around this lake. Houses with basements that are like walk out onto the lake because there's going to be a hill here, things like that. It's going to be really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. Some of the terraforming, though, I will do off of camera because it's very tedious, and I don't want you guys to have to sit through multiple hours, days even, of me just building the land that's, going to be built on here. There's going to be businesses along here. My real estate company's going to be here. Maybe a bar and grill, something like that. Just small businesses along here. Maybe even some like nicer apartments, things like that of that nature over here, or something. Who knows? Um, with the school district here, maybe we could do like a bus port here. The possibilities are endless. So that takes us over into the southwest portion. Over here, we have the Kalesboro Titans. This is going to be the school district for them. Here is the football field. I don't know if I want to revamp the bleachers or not. They look kind of cool. But yeah, here's the football field. They are the Titans. Here's the elementary school. Now, the school colors are orange and purple. And then we're going to do some like rainbow specks in here because, you know, these are like kids that are 10 and under, pretty much, going to elementary school here. Um, the bathrooms have colorful flooring. Like I said, this world is kind of stuck in the past a little bit. You'll notice a lot of my designs kind of resemble like very old school buildings and stuff like that. Um, so there's classrooms all along here for each grade, and then back here is probably what's going to be just like a general locker area, and then dismissal when kids like or when kids' parents like pull up to get them from school. This over here is the middle school, which the interior's been started. It has not been finished. It's like these classrooms, they're not done. This back here is going to be... Who the fuck left Walter here? That's funny. Um, some typical looking like middle school and high school students actually already in here. Um, this is gonna be the cafeteria, and then since there's walkways all around here, and there will be more, this is gonna be the high school, probably gonna be 2 or 3 stories tall, and there will be a gymnasium in here that the kids from the middle school and from the elementary school will be able to come over during that block and use the gymnasium. So there's the school district. Over here, there are some businesses or past businesses. We have a McDonald's here, which, if you guys remember when McDonald's looked like this, we can all agree that that was a very golden era in history. This is an old location for Mama Ruz ice cream shop, which got relocated, so I ended up just boarding up the building and making it look like, it's been abandoned for a really long time. This over here is a restaurant that serves ethnic food, but has been, kind of, wanted to be shut down by some health inspectors for, you know, unethical practicing, if you catch my drift. Here's a sixplex, so there's 6 apartments here in this house. Here's Candy's previous property, from the one she did over there. She had this one first. I don't know if I'm going to revamp that or just leave it the way it is, make it look like some crazy lady lives here. Here's another house. Here's another house. There's another house. Most of these needing interiors. Here's a restaurant that I actually refuse to enter on camera. I might board this up. There's some very, bad things inside of this building. So, yeah, this one might get boarded up. And then I'm thinking about putting like a Raising Cane's, maybe a Taco Bell, a Burger King, and like, something else right here. Maybe a I don't know. We'll see. This here is a portion of the map I like to call Historic Newport. This is Newport Boulevard, and there are houses along here that are very old school. Some of which I need to do less overgrowing on the yards. But yeah, a lot of these houses are supposed to look a bit older. Some of them are supposed to look very, cherished and like they were custom built for people, which I live in the Midwest. Houses like this are very common from the 1800s and the early 1900s. With that being said, I decided to take a stab at a really big-ass Tudor house, and this is what I came up with. And it actually turned out even better than I could have imagined. I'm really proud of this build. It is not done. The interior is probably going to take like a lot of videos in itself. But this is what I come up with, and I think it was actually pretty cool. It's like 3 stories tall and with a basement, so cool, cool house. Um, I guess moving over here, there's a church. This is based off of an actual church that I saw in Wolcottville, Indiana. I went to tour it because a client of one of my partners over at my real estate firm was going to show them a church, and this is almost an exact copy of the church I walked through. So far on the interior as well. This is a quadplex. This is a small house. This is another house, some of which needing interiors. This is another house, and then back here is a nod to an old man cave of mine that I had in one of my other houses. This is a small group called the Heads. In real life, that's something that I have going for me, and so this is kind of one of our clubhouses. Um, Jumping back over in this direction, I have a step grandmother that everyone calls Mama. She has a lot of old furniture laying around her house, so I decided to give her a very old furniture store. Over here, some of you might recognize this right away. I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible. Sorry, I'm rushing this. Um, some of you might recognize this block from another very, very popular video game that has shown itself in history. This is Grove Street from GTA San Andreas. Unfinished, of course, but this is Grove Street. So this was very fun. This was a fun little project, and I tried to make it look as similar to the in-game Grove Street from GTA San Andreas while also adding my own touches to it. So this is Grove Street. Continuing Grove Street, there's nothing here yet. And then over here, there's another block, Park Avenue. There's a gas station here, which needs revamped. Almost everything needs revamped. Houses along here, typical houses you would see in an older, you know, somewhat crime-filled neighborhood. You know. Oh, it looks like I have a renter. What's up, Angel? Bottom half of my duplex here. This is like a little storage lockup. You can come back here with a vehicle. It's pretty tight. You can load up your garages and stuff. And then this is like direct back access to like the Grove Street block. A lot of like little passageways here in the hood. Some graffiti and stuff. And then this over here is like, the Heads, the little group I talked about in real life. This is where like some tires are piled up. We gather around the campfire, target practice, shit like that. It's like our little hangout. There's a house for sale here. Kind of just a general idea of what's going on there. Other than that, these blocks over here are pretty much strictly filled with residential. I don't remember what this is called. Maybe Henderson Avenue or something. Yeah, we need to fix all the street signs too now that I have road signs. So, again, a lot more like, hood style houses, older houses. There's a little apartment building here, one of those old school brick shaped apartment buildings that has like 6 apartments in it. If you're from the Midwest, you've seen a lot of these. Basketball court back here, which also is kind of the backyard to this house, which I thought was kind of cool. Just how zoning, old school zoning is just really messed up, and I kind of wanted to implement that into my world. There's another small house, another house here. This one's a little more creepy. It's literally got a well in the yard. This one is cool. I'm looking forward to furnishing this one. Another small house here. And a lot of these have platted out interiors already. Like plans and stuff, where they're going, direction-wise. So we at least have a good basis of what we're doing here. This over here is another duplex, and then here's a small house on the corner. I think this one actually has a garage. Yes, it does. Over here is Jonathan May Apartments. This is a little nod to my girlfriend's dad. Obviously, his government name is Jonathan May. Everyone either calls him JJ or Roy. So this is an apartment building that has a lot of interior, um, I guess like courtyard doors to it. Um, just cheap apartment complex. You can get a one bedroom for like 700 a month or less, things like that. Um, but yeah, I mean he's also in the real estate industry as well as me. But he does like rentals and stuff. He buys properties, fixes them up, and rent. So I figured it'd be fitting to give him an apartment complex here in my world. There's a bus stop here. God, I really should have done all this after the add-ons. Um, what is this? El Sombrero Picante? Yes, Mexican restaurant there. If you know what this is, you know what this is. You're awesome. This is an old school family video from back when that was still a thing. And then Checkers, if you remember from the other side of the map, bar and pizzeria. We had a Checkers over there as well. So this one is basically just the same business in different form. Also needs a new interior. Got a house I've started working on here. Um, got a small house here. I had a food truck over there, but I lost one of my old saves. Got some graffiti back there. There's a few businesses over here as well. We got Dirty Dan's, which is a laundromat, which I took direct inspiration from one of my huge inspirations to build even a Minecraft city. Um, Dan Lags, back when he did Constructing Los Angeles, there was a laundromat called Dirty Dan's, and I took a lot of inspiration from that and built my own Dirty Dan's. So, yeah, obviously this interior needs work. They all pretty much need work until I'm happy with them. This is where Mama Ruz Ice Cream ended up moving to. Let's see what Candy said. Can I join your game to hang out after stream? Okay, cool. And then this is Mama Ruz Ice Cream. I made her come up with all the names herself. We'll do a major in-depth tour of this world when I'm done with it. Just to get everything fully out there about this world. Okay. Cool. This is Phil's computer shop. My Uncle Phil is a big computer guy, so I'll explain all that later as well. My step grandfather who passed away, his name was Larry. He was a traveling salesman for music for many, many years, so I gave him this record store as a tribute to him. God rest his soul. One of the kindest and most understanding and, just one of the most amazing people that I could have asked for in my life for family. So the store goes out to him. So far, I think that's pretty much everything. Over here, I missed this. This is going to be a tobacco and liquor store. Trying to fly through this just to get this within my video parameters that I like to post. That's going to be a liquor and tobacco store. I got a few more houses popping up over here. This is going to be kind of a gang-filled neighborhood. This is going to be a cemetery. I have all the things platted out for like graves and stuff already, so that'll be an interesting thing to do. Again, just older style houses, stuff you would have seen pop up like pre and post World War II. A lot of these look like post-war houses where they're just all like cookie cutter and stuff like that, which is a lot of the stuff you would find in areas like this. And then this one is kind of its own little entity, which turned out pretty interesting. Cool house though. Yeah. Moving back over here, this is an apartment complex I've been working on. I'm probably going to name this something really funny like Poverty Point or something like that. There's going to be a lot more details like torn up grass and weeds and texturing on the building to make it look older and run down. There's 3 blocks of apartments here, totaling in what will be 66 apartments. So each of those would be rented in real life for something like, I don't know, $525 a month to like 700 for a 2-bedroom, because this is like going to be the factory like poor district of town, like the not so nice area. So you would get a lot of like gang activity, crime stuff maybe going on around this area. This parking lot's going to be all textured and looking unpaved and things like that. It's gonna be fun to go through and give all this details. Like I said, there's working railroads as well, and then over here, I guess the last thing I have to show you are the businesses along here. I'll start on this end. That's going to be a house next to the tracks and wedged between a business and the tracks, just because, I don't know, for some reason in the Midwest we do things like that, or we did back in the day. So this retail space is actually for rent, um, just like support beams, and that's pretty much all there is in here right now. Above that is four apartments, all being very old school and reminiscent to like very crappy upstairs apartments that you would find in like a Midwest town. This building also being really similar. This is probably going to be called Main Street Barber. Got a little barber shop in here. It needs revamped. Holy shit. And then there's apartments upstairs. This is going to be a strip club. There will be a lot of secrets within this building. There will also be a reference to something really funny regarding my family in this building, and I will explain that later. This here is a cafe, actually based off of a restaurant. If you guys are ever in northeastern Indiana, stop in Butler. Get yourself a really cheap, nice meal at Broadway Cafe. I based this building off of Broadway Cafe in Butler, Indiana, and I love eating there, as do a lot of the older folks around there. So, yeah, this is not fully done yet, but Broadway Cafe, I'll probably end up just calling it that anyway. And then also, just like the other ones, there are going to be apartments above this that are very old school. Bedroom in here, and then like a bathroom back here. So that's kind of the idea here. As for the rest of this map, the things we are going to do, I have ideas. Like this entire area back here is going to be a trailer park. This back here is going to be a lot of factories. Small, like, old school neighborhood over here. Maybe some factories and some crappy little dinky houses. Maybe a trailer or two. Things like that. But yeah, the possibilities are endless. So let's go ahead and build the rest of this city together. I'm very much looking forward to getting into this with you guys. So that's what I've got so far. Sorry we couldn't do any building in this episode. Just kind of wanted to show you around a little bit. Get an idea of what we're going to be doing with this series. So, yes. Welcome to the first episode of us building a city in Minecraft. This has a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of work that's already been done. So, this will be fun. I am very much looking forward to this. So, until next time, guys, I hope you have a really, really good day, night, evening, whatever the hell it is you have right now. And, yeah, continue to watch the survival series with my family. I hope you guys enjoy that series as well. That one's a little less viewer-oriented for, like, at least commentary. It's more just for us to have a good time with our family. But if you enjoy people just playing survival Minecraft and fucking around and having a good time, please join that. I would love to see you guys on that series as well. So I will see you guys in the next one, which will hopefully be a survival video, maybe even tonight. But yeah, subscribe if you're interested. Let's do this.